My name is David Thomas Smith. I retired out as a Navy career counselor, Master Chief, submarine qualified. Pretty much we did what we call a Caribbean run, a springboard, which is pretty much you go down and you do exercises. Some of the more exciting times we had was when we would pull into port, especially San Juan, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and just act sailor. That's the best I can say. Those are good times. Those are some of the good times. You know, those are some of the good times. Probably because we were out of the States and the crew really pulled together there, because really that was all we had. You know, when knockoff went, when time to go on Liberty, everybody was gonna go over to Liberty together because we were in a strange place. Everybody stuck together. So that was very enjoyable. I enjoyed those cruises, you know. I enjoyed those cruises. Well, if you did not like hydraulic oil, you were in the wrong place, because hydraulic oil was all over the place. And of course, the main thrust of the ship was to keep it seaworthy and to keep the equipment operating, and that was what was priority. We had very little air conditioning. We had stills that only made X amount of water a day, and the majority of that was allotted to the equipment. You would go to sea with a full sea bag, say, of 3-4 pair of jeans, dungarees, shirts, and after maybe 2 weeks at sea, you cycle through all your clothes, and now you're going back through your dirty clothes, getting the cleanest clothes to wear again. And all of them had oil in them. Matter of fact, I was married after a little bit when I got in, and when I would come home, my wife would make me strip at the door, because you had all that diesel fuel smell all over you. It was in your pores, in your clothes, everything, shoes. So I just have to strip at the door, leave everything at the door, then go in directly to the shower. And that was one of the big things aboard the ship, is that really cleanliness was an issue. I mean, you know, nobody got drastically sick, but hydraulic fluid was everywhere. Odor was everywhere. Sanitary tanks, they were holding tanks, and then when we blow the tanks, get rid of the waste on mid-watch, they would vent the tanks inboard. So here you are, you're venting sanitary tanks inboard. And if you're lucky, they might do a snorkel and bring in some fresh air. But most of that air was allotted to the engines, not for comfort, crew comfort. So you got to adjust it to stuff. You got to adjust it. You got to adjust it. Well, food was great. Never complained about food. As a matter of fact, on board submarine there, every submarine I was on, we always had open galley. And that meant that you could cook and eat anything you want. Nothing was off limits. The only thing was, if you made a mess, clean your mess up. Other than that, there was never any restrictions. I mean, we would come back late at night and we would cook steak and eggs for midnight snacks, stuff like that. And no one cared, you know. So that I have to admit. One thing I did do, I learned how to eat lobster in the Navy. Whole lobster. I had never eaten whole lobster before on the Bang. And every Friday was fish day back then, because Catholics eat fish on Friday. And they would have fish day. And lobster, they would bring down whole Maine lobsters, and these were pound and a half at least. And they would cook them up and dump them in the middle of the table with brown paper on the table, and then had a big can in the middle for you to throw the shells in. I'd never eaten lobster before. Never eaten lobster before. So I'm sitting there looking at this thing, trying to figure out what to do with it. One of the guys said, well, let me show you. So he showed me how to open it and how to pop the tail off and so forth. I ate 13 whole lobsters at one sitting. I'd never had lobster before, and you could eat all you want. There was no limit, you know. So that was interesting. I remember those days, you know. Well, in the 64, took the Bang into the shipyard for overhaul. I left the ship, and from there I went down to Dam Neck, Virginia for guided missile school, which was what I was supposed to be in originally, but because of the holding pattern they had us in, you know, that's how I got aboard the Bang, and that's how I got qualified on the Bang.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the Bang, I also went down to the Quillback down in Key West, Florida.